Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I did a video yesterday about two fans who were told to cover up their XXXY t-shirts at an Atlanta Dream game, Atlanta Dream against the Fever. And they were sitting in the third row. Their seats cost $1,000 and they were told to cover up their shirts. There's video footage of this. And this is a mother and daughter who went to the game to support Sophie Cunningham, who wanted to enjoy the game, and they were sat there wearing t-shirts that they were given in order to cover up a simple nod to our chromosomes. That's it. And they were told, I guess, that it's offensive to be wearing those shirts. Well, the mother and daughter have now spoken up. They did a quick interview, so I'm going to react to that. And the WNBA responded with a very brief statement, basically saying it should never have happened. They said the WNBA is aware of interactions at last night's game in Atlanta in which fans were asked by league security to cover their shirts. This should never have happened. And then the Atlanta Dream responded to the incident and basically threw the WNBA under the bus. They said it was a bad call by the WNBA's security. And this is what the Atlanta Dream had to say. The Atlanta Dream believes in creating a safe and inclusive environment for everyone. Unfortunately, at last night's game, WNBA security took actions that fell short of that standard. At no point was Dream personnel involved in the decisions made by WNBA security. Wow. That speaks volumes. This league is just, the people running it seem determined to destroy it. They're treating fans who spent all that money on these seats with such contempt over some t-shirts. Meanwhile, they're putting trans kids belong people all over the Jumbotron. There was one woman in particular. Apparently she was told to cover up her shirt, but she's all over the Jumbotron. I believe multiple times she was on it. At least this is what people are reporting, and there's images of her on the Jumbotron. So which is it? The fans are from Georgia, they're locals, and they said that they were surprised that this is happening in Georgia. Even though it's Atlanta, Atlanta's pretty liberal, they were saying that, you know, they're surprised about it. So it turns out that the Atlanta Dream are not for it. They said the WNBA's security took actions that fell short of that standard of inclusivity. You know, they love to throw that word around, and they're right. It's not very inclusive to tell women who were there to support Sophie Cunningham, to support, you know, the cause of protecting women's sports at the WNBA, you know, that they have to cover up their shirts.
This should not have happened. So they're admitting that there was fault here. I'll just say this. I've been thinking about this issue because the league is going to allow this one issue to destroy them. Destroy them. There's a clear answer to this. It's very clear. But they're choosing not to do the right thing. And this is why groupthink is a cancer to society. It's okay to be affiliated with a community. It's okay to be affiliated with a group, but you got to be able to think independently. And the issue with the league right now is that you have a lot of people that are affiliated with a community. And they feel like that community has to stick together on the issue. A lot of people, I played basketball my whole life. Many of the women in the WNBA identify as lesbian or trans or bisexual in the league. Well, transgender is a part of the LGBT community.
It's like the league wants that to be at the forefront of what represents them. LGBTQ2SL or whatever is added onto that. They want that to be at the core of their representation. And I think that's one of the reasons why they didn't welcome Caitlin Clark. In my opinion, she doesn't seem to be celebrated as much as she should be, considering she has brought a lot of new fans. And all they've done is accuse her fans of being racist, accused her fans of not being real fans. They love to throw that around. You know, well, you're not real fans. You've just come here. And this isn't anything new.
Well, the WNBA finally has something it desperately wanted, thanks to Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. Fans. So naturally, it's trying to alienate them. Instead of rolling out the red carpet for this massive new audience, the league and the woke left are treating common sense fans and some of the players at times like public enemy number one.
Caitlin Clark is the goose that laid the golden egg for the WNBA, and you see the numbers reflecting very positively for her. But if you go back and you look at what happened when Venus and Serena Williams joined the Women's Tennis Association, everybody got in line. She looked different, both of those women did, than the typical players. Think about Tiger Woods when he came to the PGA. It was a little bit of maybe a speed bump, but then everybody got in line. Everybody made way more money. The entire organization welcomed him. And I'll give you another one. Ronda Rousey in the UFC. Shannon, I bought UFC pay-per-view fights to watch Ronda Rousey fight. I didn't care about the women's UFC at all before her. Most of these leagues, the WTA, the PGA, the UFC, they've all embraced these gifts in a way that the WNBA, frankly, has been unable to do. And I think it's unfortunate because Caitlin Clark has certainly shined a spotlight we've never seen before on the WNBA.
In different sports, men and women's sports, there have been people who started paying attention when a certain athlete came along, a certain superstar came along. People started paying attention, people started watching who previously were not interested in that sport. This is nothing new. People don't deserve to be demonized just because they're new fans. And it's the new fans that are going to help ensure that the WNBA doesn't go another 30 years without making a profit, or is even around in the next 30 years. And I just feel they don't want it to attract people who want to go there with their families, making it a American pastime. I don't think they want it to be like that. They don't seem to want that sort of representation within their league. They just want it to be all about woke ideology, LGBTQ. They want it to just represent that rather than it being a family event that you're going to watch. Mothers taking their daughters, fathers taking their daughters to go and watch women's basketball. They don't seem to want it to be about that. They seem to have disdain for that, quite frankly. And now they're punishing people who say that they should go down the route of the WTA, the IOC, the NCAA, all of these major sporting leagues who are now introducing sex testing. Apparently that's offensive to them to be for that. And they're willing to see things go downhill rather than just focus on basketball, which they always say they want to do, just focus on basketball. But then why is it about all these other things?
Here with more is Casey and Annie Thomason, who were told to cover up their shirts. All right, Casey, what exactly did the security say was so offensive about that cute, adorable shirt?
Well, he didn't know what was offensive about it. He said he didn't even understand, but since someone told on us and said that they were offensive, we had to, cover up, put on our Atlanta Dream shirts instead of our XXXY.
Wow, that's all it takes is someone to complain and not even articulate what's so offensive about those shirts, and security acts on that? That is ridiculous. If one of these women complained about the trans kids belong shirt, I doubt the security would jump up and even dare approach the person telling them to cover up. I doubt it. You notice the difference. She even said that it's wrong for such people to be told to cover up their shirts. That's the difference between this mother and daughter and the woke activists. The woke activists cheer when people's freedom of speech is infringed upon. They cheer if it's something that they disagree with.
Well, Annie, the wellness shirt, I'm sure that's all well and good, but I think the other one's a lot cooler. Annie, okay, you're a kid, all right? You're there having fun. Your mom is really generous to get you those tickets. You better have given her a big hug and kiss for that. So awesome that you're there. And yeah, that's an unbelievable gift. So you're there with your mom having fun. What goes through your mind as a young woman supporting female athletes that this would even come up?
I was flabbergasted. It's the first time I've ever experienced anything like that, and I had no words except who's offended by a t-shirt at this point?
Yeah. And who is offended by science?
No, it's
That's
like,
what we
but
asked the security guard.
poor guy. I assume. I mean, it's not his fault. He's just doing what they tell him, right? It's like, poor guy. It's like,
Right.
that's the worst
Right.
short end of the stick having to deliver this
I know.
news. But the thing about this that's wild is that free speech extends to certain people in the arena, but not to you.
Right.
Casey, why is that?
Right.
Why?
You know, I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty sure we're like 90-10, 95-5 issue on men and women's sports, but that 5 or 10% is so loud against us, and it makes no sense. Like, common sense, people. Like, that's all we're asking for.
That's insane. Annie, the WNBA told us that they're aware of the interactions at last night's game in Atlanta, which fans were asked to cover up. That's you guys, cover up the shirts. This should not have happened, they said. Does that make you feel better about this? Presumably, Annie, it won't happen again?
It's 100% going to happen again until people actually do something about it. And no, it does not make me feel better because they're not going to do anything about it.
Well, Casey, I think you're giving your daughter a really important education here, because this should be simple, but life isn't simple, sadly, anymore when it comes to issues like this. And standing up for what you believe in a very positive way. You weren't saying anything negative about anyone else. You were just... But this is a good life lesson for your daughter and for everyone in the country to say, if you believe in what you believe in, do not be intimidated.
So the statements that were released, people were saying that, you know, it's a matter of throwing stones and then hiding your hands. So it wasn't us. Nothing to do with us. Or, okay, I guess it shouldn't have happened. Well, why is it happening in the first place? It's happening because people are offended. This is the 4th time in a week that I've seen an organisation which has promoted gender ideology say nothing to do with us when challenged. As usual, an org claiming to be inclusive excludes, abuses and humiliates women. This is a misogynistic men's rights movement. Yeah, that's what you're caping for, WNBA, for men to have special privileges and to identify themselves into the WNBA, to identify themselves into women's and girls' sports, something they have been doing across the country, and it's still going on. And when you have coaches wearing trans kids belong, when you have coaches who refuse to back Sophie Cunningham and to simply say she told no lies, when you have the commissioner and people coming together who are supposed to be leaders within the organisation refusing to tell us what the W stands for, yeah, the organisation is showing that it's all for it, that it doesn't care about what high school girls, middle school girls, girls competing in the NCAA throughout the years have had to go through. They don't care. And even when it comes all the way to the WNBA, they've put no provision in place to prevent it. And that's why we're cheering on Ennis and Royce in their endeavours. Something that you would think the WNBA will be all for, but they're not, because they want to pick and choose which men they allow in and which men they say no to, when really they should be saying no to all men who want to compete in that category. It's very simple. The WTA can do it. The IOC can do it. The WNBA has no excuse, but yet they keep making excuses, continue to push back, because when they're called out, they seem to backtrack. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video. And a huge thanks to all of those who have hyped my videos. It is greatly appreciated.